Hey guys, welcome back to Clownfish TV. This is Kneon. I am here with Geeky Sparkles.
Hello.
And it looks like Disney is detransitioning.
Yes.
A lot of their programming, their kids' programming in particular. This is the second example now of Disney basically pulling out trans references in a kids show. This is the Pixar, Win or Lose streaming series. It's about baseball, I guess. And before that, we had Girl and Devil Dinosaur. They pulled an episode off the air, I guess. They never aired it. And this is just another indicator that the pendulum is swinging back pretty hard.
Well, if I'm not mistaken, I mean, I'm not sure. I'm assuming I have to see what it's about for this, but I know with Moon Girl, it was a case of where, like, there was like a whole, monologue about how, oh, we're being kept out of girls' sports, we're a trans girl and all that too. And it's like, and it was trying to, normalize that if you're a trans woman, that you should be allowed to play in women's sports. And it's like, that's one of the sticking points people have is, like, I personally don't care if you're trans or not. I honestly don't. Like, you do you, boo. I don't care. I will not treat you differently for it, but I do not believe that trans women should be in female sports. I'm sorry.
There is a biological difference.
There is. I'm sorry. You can scream all you want.
Scientific fact.
It's just not. It's not fair. It's just not fair.
So we'll talk about this because this seems to be a sticking point. But I guess my question here is, why do we have two Disney kids shows back to back that are dealing with the exact same thing?
They're trying to put it through, yeah.
Right. Same time, same whatever. And this would have happened probably on Chapek's watch. And it probably happened around the time that all the stuff was going down in Florida, given the amount of time it takes to get an animated series through. But this is the second one they've nixed, and that's on top of, and I love this this headline here is Vulture. Disney put Inside Out 2 through conversion therapy, that they supposedly took out more explicitly gay references in regards to Riley and her female friend. And the movie went on to make like $1.5 billion.
Well, the thing about was there was no indication of that in the first one. It was just a bunch of people who work for Disney, usually involved in animation or something like that, Pixar animation. They want to push in storylines like this because, a lot of them probably identify differently. Arty people usually do. So I think, and it was just them trying to push it through because they wanted to see representation like them. And, which it's fine, whatever, if it's organic, it makes sense. But Riley was never, portrayed that way, but a bunch of people on Twitter at the time decided she was.
Yeah, well, yeah, because that was a whole conversation that people were having, apparently. Because,
and Elsa needs a girlfriend.
Yeah, yep, Elsa needs a girlfriend, and Riley's obviously bi or gay because her emotions are mixed gender and everybody else, their emotions aren't, but like that
was weird. But I think it was just that they had a more diverse cast.
Yeah. I think that's what it was. It was like this was the cast of emotions, and oh, by the way, everybody else has emotions too. Yeah, whatever.
Well, they were trying to say she was trans, but yes, that's what they were trying to say.
Yeah.
And this brings up, they're like with Gina Carano, and the reason I bring it up is because a bunch of people decided that because they thought Cara Dune seemed manly, that she was either, that she was somewhere on the LGBTQ spectrum. They decided. It was never implied in any romantic way whatsoever. But because they decided that she was the representation, they got mad when the actress wouldn't do what they wanted. Because other people at Lucasfilms don't have pronouns in their bios, and they were fine with it. But they insisted she did because they decided that she was the representation. And it wasn't because she herself was or the character was. They determined that was the case. It's like, what was the other one too? They did it with... the one that was the Pixar one. Luca. I know, Luca.
Like every Pixar movie.
Luca.
Right?
And they tried to do it with that too because the guy who created it said flat out it was based on his childhood and their friends. Yeah. But the internet decided that no, they had to be a couple because they decided, even though the person behind it kept saying, no, that's not what it is here.
Right.
We're a lot more, demonstrative where I'm from kind of situation. And they decided.
He's Italian. It took place in Italy. He's Italian.
They decided.
Italians are a lot more affectionate.
And because they decided it has to be that way.
So let's talk about all this. That's okay. That's a long tangent. That's okay. Before we get into it any further, please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants, guys. Yeah, woohoo if you do. Go out to clownfishminus.com, support the reef. You can get exclusive content. You can buy merchandise, and we also mirror that content on clownfishtv.locals.com. And I want to preface the rest of this video because I always feel like I have to do this for the dumb people, because God knows a lot of dumb people watch our videos and then they take the wrong thing from it and then they go run to Blue Sky. This video is not meant to be anti-trans. It's not meant to be anti-LGBTQ+. We're merely stating that Disney has decided, I believe wisely, to avoid these topics in kids' programming. Right? Is that fair?
Yes, pretty
That's
much,
fair.
yes.
So yeah, this is coming from the Hollywood Reporter. Disney pulls transgender storyline from Pixar's Win or Lose streaming series exclusive. The original animated show about a co-ed high school team debuts on Disney Plus in February. And yeah.
I knew about this one coming, but I didn't know about the storyline.
Well, it's, again, current year. Of course, we're dealing with sports, of course. Yeah, they said they're no longer going to include a transgender storyline in a later episode. The Hollywood Reporter has learned the series follows a co-ed middle school softball team named the Pickles.
It's already co-ed, so why do you need to add, you know what I mean?
So many jokes.
I know, but why would you need to add it anyway? It's already co-ed, so, there's already representation, so.
Yeah, I don't know. So this is like the Bad News Bears, right? So, yeah, a co-ed softball team named the Pickles in the week leading up to their championship game. Each of the 8 episodes centers on the off-the-field life of a character and their point of view, whether it be a player, a parent, a coach, or an umpire. A spokesperson for Disney confirmed that the story arc was removed and provided the following statement. When it comes to animated... here we go. When it comes to
This is Disney.
This is coming directly from Disney, guys. When it comes to animated content for a younger audience, we recognize that many parents would prefer to discuss certain subjects with their children on their own terms and timeline. Oh my God, kind of like Ron DeSantis said. Yeah. Oh my God. No, I think in the case of kids programming, like if you don't want to be accused of being groomers, you stay away from certain topics in kids.
And here's the thing: if they really want to push it, they could always the character's left in. The character's still there.
The character's still
there.
So
you can say, you just be careful how you say things, and then leave it open so that parents and kids can discuss the topic, and it's up to the parents and the children to discuss it. You know what I mean? So the kids can say to their mom or dad, "Hey, I have a question about this," and then they can discuss it how they feel fit to discuss it. The character remains in the show, but a few lines of dialogue that reference gender identity were being removed. So that's not that big of a deal.
Well, unless it was a very special episode. And we'll talk about the Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur.
Yeah, the Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur was very overtly, ridiculous. But
it won a Velma Award.
Oh, yeah, shocker. Shocker.
Velma Dinkley, who is not gay canonically, by the way. That was a recent thing. That was another case of the shippers deciding that Velma was gay. They decided Velma was a gay icon because she was based on a character from Dobie Gillis that was played by a gay actress, but the character she played was straight.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, and so they made a Velma Award, an episode that never aired, they never saw. Because they wanted to send a message,
Yes.
So they're talking about how, they did the Bob Chapek thing and then the Pixar's Lightyear because that's the two moms. And it's honestly, I don't believe that was why people didn't go to the movie so much as it was that it wasn't.
Boring.
Yes, and it wasn't Buzz Lightyear.
It wasn't Buzz Lightyear.
Strange World, yes, it had an openly gay character, but again, I don't think that was why people didn't go because they wouldn't have known about that until later. They didn't go because they were like, what the hell is this? It looks stupid.
Yeah, pretty much.
I mean, some people probably didn't go for those reasons, and that's valid.
Yeah,
and if you went for those reasons, that's also valid.
I think in the case of, again, Disney is trying to make money, right? Desperately. They desperately need to make money. Inside Out 2 was a massive hit. I did not see that coming. But I'm telling you, if they had left any references to Riley being gay or trans or whatever in that movie and parents would have caught wind of it, that movie would not have made as much money.
So I'm going to say right now, if you're a parent and you have children, you're a parent or you're a guardian of a child or whatever, it's up to you. What you want them to watch, you want them to see. It doesn't matter how much the internet screams. It doesn't matter how much people, at these studios want to insert stuff in because they're adults and they want to insert stuff in there. It's up to you. And some parents are fine with it, and that's okay. That's valid. If you're fine with it and you want to take your kids to see it because you don't think it's that big of a deal and you want to talk about it, cool. If you're a parent who's not fine with it and you want to have that conversation privately and you don't want to go see it, you don't have to. Also, cool and valid. Both are valid points.
Parents should decide.
You're the parent. You decide.
Right.
They don't get to tell you what you know, that you're a bigot if you don't go, nor do they get to tell you that you're the moral authority if you do. It's up to the
Just
parent.
in California.
Yeah, it's up to the parent. If you feel confident and okay with it, and it's something that you to openly discuss, because maybe people in your family are, so what? Go take them, no problem. But that's a parental choice. But I'm going to tell you that the majority, right or wrong, however you want to read it, the majority of families don't want this in children's entertainment. They don't want to have to. They want to discuss this when the kids are older. They don't want it for kids' movies and shows. That's just the reality of the situation.
Yeah,
be pissed if you want to be, but that's the truth.
And again, I think it's very weird. It's very weird that we have 2 back-to-back kid shows dealing with sports.
And adults want to insert stuff into it. As adults. Yes, I said what I said. Adults are wanting to insert things into children's programming. I added the extra word.
Yes.
I'm sure some of the other things exist too. But just because you identify LGBTQ does not mean that you are, wanting to insert things into children either.
That's
ridiculous.
So here, I think it's just it's become a huge hot topic. They said, look, like Disney's not. They stopped making LGBTQ programming. They have Agatha. Again, but these are for older audiences, right? Agatha, All the Strangers, Next Goal Wins, Fire Island, Posse, et cetera, et cetera. They said the studio is far from alone in grappling with potential fallout from politically charged content. Well, now they're getting the memo. It only took how many years of failure, box office failure after box office failure?
Because people don't want to see more politically charged content. They get enough of that just, everyday lives. Everything's political. Why the hell do you want to go to the movies or to watch a TV show to unwind and have to be lectured again?
So they're talking about the walking back DEI programming. We did a video on this, Hollywood's great unwokening, right?
Now, again, I want to clarify. You can still have diversity and inclusion. You can still do organic. It was done for years. Organically, inclusive stuff. And it's fine if it fits the character and the property and the IP. It's fine. The problem is when you're just, making all your choices based on that and you're changing everything about it and then telling the original audience they're crap, or you're shoving it down people's throats and being like overtly ridiculous, that's different. You can still have it. No one's saying you cannot have diversity and inclusion. It just needs to be done in a organic, realistic way.
So this is very interesting, and they're not mentioning this. Top media executives have already met with Trump. They're blaming Trump already for this, right?
They were talking about the news yesterday.
They said including Apple's Tim Cook. Hey,
yes.
Here's some trivia for you. Not that it matters, but did you know that Tim Cook likes dick? Not that it matters.
It doesn't.
But I'm just saying, I'm putting that out there, and he's meeting with Trump.
Who cares? I'm like,
Ted Sarandos from Netflix. Yeah, he's scheduled to meet with them at Mar-a-Lago today. That's Netflix. Netflix, the streaming company that's always being accused of race bending and gender bending and gaying everything up. And yeah, they're meeting with them too.
Ironically, Tim Cook likes dick, and so do I. We have something in common.
Dick must be a great guy.
I know, right? So it was interesting because the media, they were talking about it yesterday, and they're like, oh my gosh, guys, did you know that these different companies have donated like $1 million to Trump's inauguration fund? And I was like laughing because they're making it out like it's this big deal.
Secret.
And I'm like, do you know that a bunch of those companies also donated millions of dollars to Biden's inauguration fund? I mean, it's normal. They do this all the time. And they're making it out like it's, oh my God, these companies are so terrible. I'm like, but they did the same thing for Biden because that's what they do. I'm like, my next thing is why does they need millions of dollars for an inauguration to begin with?
Yeah, it's so weird. Like nobody paid attention to this before.
I know. Right? They're acting like, oh my God, it's new.
Oh my God,
new.
guys. These companies are trying to suck up to the current administration to make sure they get
Never
favors.
happens. It's all new.
It's never happened. Ever.
Continue. We can continue. I keep saying continue. That's a shirt we need to do is continue.
Please. Yeah. Do I have your permission? Do I have your permission to continue?
Yes, you granted.
All right.
I'll allow it.
All right. So yeah, the decision regarding win or lose. I kept thinking I wanted to read this as win, lose, or draw. Remember that show? That show was fun. It was basically just a Pictionary knockoff. But it comes as Disney's film empire, led by Alan Bergman, is celebrating a major comeback at the box office, led by animation. Inside Out 2, 1.7 billion globally. That would not have happened if the movie was overtly...
If it was outside in, it wouldn't have
If it was outside in, It wouldn't have happened. I'm telling you, I'm not trying. It's not me being a bigot. That's not me. I'm just telling you, parents would have been like, oh, hell no.
Isn't it weird that stating the fact makes you a terrible person? I mean, like as a woman, like we're talking about we're going to talk about the Moon Girl Devil Dinosaur situation. I feel like as a woman, I should be allowed to say, hey, I don't think it's right and fair that you have, I don't have any problem with people being trans women. I really don't. But that you have trans women playing in women's sports because it's unfair biological advantage. And then you're a terrible person as a woman by saying, basically, I don't want someone who's a biological male in my space playing against me because it's not fair, and that makes me the bigot.
There are some people that would accuse you of being a hate monger if you simply state that trans women cannot have babies. They're like, you're a bigot. Like literally, I've seen this around. Like, no, they are literally identical biological. I'm like,
I hope it's not real, but they were like, it had to be a joke. I can't think it's real. Where they were trying to like, have those babies and you could crap them out or whatever, like the toys. I'm like,
that's got to be a joke.
That's got to be a joke.
You know what though? I'm at a point now where like we live.
You can't even tell.
Silly Billy La
I don't know how you get it up there.
That's where we live.
You wouldn't be able to get up there even if you wanted to. But I just.
Is this like with men where they put the cramp-inducing belt or something on you to be like, hey,
you want to?
Yeah, it's like, so we have solidarity with our sisters.
No, so you can see what it's like. You can't even make it on the. You can't. They can't even do like the mild period settings. A lot of these people. I'm just like. Anyway,
yeah, babies are a little. They're
you want to try it? We'll put it on video.
Babies are more fun going in than coming out.
True.
That is a biological fact. Babies are a lot more fun going in than coming out.
Usually.
I don't know. It depends. Maybe you're dorm. I don't know. Anyway.
I think it depends on the situation, how it went in. But
Inside Out 2, not Outside In. Yeah, made a lot of money. Moana 2. Remember there was a rumor going around that Moana was going to be trans. And the thing is people believed it. But again, we live in
I didn't believe
silly
that
Billy La La Land where everything is fucking
but so ridiculous.
Batshit crazy.
You never know.
People would have been like, oh, yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Of course.
It's like, well, that's expected.
But yeah, Moana was going to be a dude named Kai or something like that.
Wait, I never heard that one.
Oh, you didn't hear that? That was going around. All these people were doing videos.
Oh, no. I didn't think they would go there.
The alt-right chuds believe it. I'm like, well, here's the thing.
Oh, I didn't buy that. I didn't hear it, and I wouldn't have bought it.
When it is so obvious that there's an agenda, especially like in the animation industry going on, and I get people wanting to see people like themselves on screen, but like when you're working for another company, and that company has to make money. Like, you're going to have to just go do, like, a Tumblr comic or something. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And this is kind of what tanked, like, the Netflix She-Ra show and everything.
I was thinking they took every single identity we could think of got shoved into that one. It's not realistic.
Every damn character in that show had a series of checkboxes. And did that show sell toys for Mattel? No, it did not. In fact, even the toys now, they spiked for a while, but they're not worth what they were. Like, nobody's buying. Because that audience... They don't buy toys.
The only reason they're worth money is because they made so few of them.
Yeah. And they came out the tail end of the show. And
both things raised prices.
And my understanding is that Mattel was hesitant to even do toys because they're like, how in the hell are we going to make dolls of these characters?
And it wasn't good enough because Glimmer wasn't fat enough.
Glimmer, oh my God, I forgot about that. Yeah, Glimmer wasn't fat enough. It was so ridiculous. And of course, like that audience, they would have been looking at the dolls and they would have had like the Pantone color swatch to make sure that they were all the right skin tone.
Probably.
In the store, and they would have been like, Mattel, you suck. This doll I'm not going to buy is 2 shades lighter than it should be just because that's the way the plastic is or whatever. So this isn't the first time they've done it. They did it just a couple of weeks ago. Disney reportedly pulled Moon Girl and Devil Dinosaur over a trans athlete story. And I did see the clip. I'm not going to run that clip because...
Oh, they did have the clip. That's right. They did.
Yeah, the clip was out there. Somebody smuggled it out.
But they didn't have the whole episode. So like these people give them an award based on a clip that wasn't even the whole episode. Yeah, so they had a character... And we saw, it was basically, they were in the locker room and the whole team was being locked into the locker room and they were being chained in by the gatekeeper. And the gatekeeper was mad and wouldn't let them out because the one trans girl wanted to play sports and they didn't want the trans girl in their sports spaces. And the gatekeeper was the villain because it's wrong.
Yes.
That's what happened.
Yes. The character is named Brooklyn, and Brooklyn recalls her time spent playing soccer and the darkness of me having to play on the boys team. Amy Sedaris is in it. and she tried to have the teenager disqualified from the game. And so they
my very existence breaks the rules.
And they couldn't get out of the room or something. I saw that, but it's just like Disney's probably like, shit, I think I'm gonna be completely honest here. It's not Trump's fault, but I think if Harris had been elected, everything would have just continued as normal. I think
probably. Well, I don't know, because they're losing money. Disney was walking it back with Inside Out way before the election even happened. You know what I mean? We thought it was Biden at the time, but I'm just saying, the studios in Hollywood are walking it back because they have to make money, and they learned that we can greenlight this stuff to the cows come home and spend a lot of money on it. It doesn't mean people want to watch it. And that's what they're learning. And it's not just this kind of stuff. It's like the whole, overtly political content. And then when they're putting out stuff that isn't, it's doing well. Because people just want to be entertained, and they don't want to have to, this is across the board. They don't want to have to go in and be lectured to again and again and again. I don't care which side you're on. It gets old.
Yeah, and I think, it looks like Disney's official position now, and other companies are probably going to take that official position, is they're not going to stop making LGBTQ content, but it's going to be for an older audience, or it's not going to be so in your face. Because that's the thing too, like when you do this, it's never like, okay, hey, by the way, just off the cuff, I used to be a boy, but now I'm a girl. It's like, no, we have to have a very special episode, and then the entire episode becomes about, you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And then parents are like, oh God, now I got to talk to my kids about this, and all I wanted to do was just park them in front of the Disney Channel for the day, and now I got to talk about this and shit.
But again, if you're a parent that's fine with it, okay,
if
cool.
You're a parent that's fine.
If your parent is not fine with it, okay, also cool. You don't have to get permission from the internet either way.
Well, you have to. If you're a parent and you're not letting your kids read certain books, or don't want them to read certain books at the school library, you're just a damn bigot. And
it's ridiculous. They're gonna just stop. It's your children. You do what you think is best.
It's like, it's such a God. Everything is so.
See, like our kids watched, like Steven Universe and Adventure Time and stuff, and it was fine.
I'll admit, I watched Steven Universe.
We'd watch it with them a lot of times, and it was fine. They watched Gravity Falls and all that stuff, and it was.
Love Gravity Falls,
I love Gravity Falls too. It was fine. Like there was a lot of different things. Like there was the two cops and stuff at the end was very highly implied, and it was completely fine. Like we didn't.
I don't give a shit.
We didn't care. Like in our situation, it was fine. If it was a camping discussion, it's not a big deal. That being said, not everybody's okay with that, and that's also valid. It's not your place to tell them. It's not my place to tell you.
Well, that's what people were saying in the comments. They're like, well, just when we needed it most because Trump got elected, they shelved it. I'm like, they're shelving it because the American public have spoken, and they're clearly more conservative than you thought they were, right? I guess Disney's thing is like they've stepped in, so they lost Reedy Creek over this. Like, what else? They're losing at the box office over this. Plus, the movies suck. But, so people were looking at Disney as being this, super woke political, and they're just like, just make kids cartoons. That's all you got to do. We don't want you, teaching our kids or preaching our kids or whatever. And, they're just like, we're going to just not do this because there's no winning it. And then the thing is, you do it, you don't do it enough for the other side.
Well, here's the kicker. There is a much larger audience on one side than the other. So if the other side screams, you're not going to lose as much money as you are.
Well, that's
and you're
it. They're
catering to the other side.
numbers
That's just the basic. That's just the reality of it.
So they're going to look at the bean counters that Disney are going to look at, and they're going to be like, okay, so we can lose hundreds of millions of dollars, or we can lose hundreds of dollars.
Yeah.
Which audience are you going to listen to, right? Mm-hmm. And it is what it is. You want to make stuff that's more overt or whatever. You've always been welcome to do that. It's just realize it's going to be for a more niche audience. They won a Velma Award for this.
Yes.
So the Velmas, we did a whole video about this. So ridiculous. Velma Dinkley canonically is not gay. She never has been gay. Even her voice actress was not gay, but she was based on a character from Dobie Gillis who just happened to be played by an actress who was gay, but the character wasn't gay.
No.
So this is just like the George Takei thing where they made Sulu gay in the new Star Trek.
He was mad about it.
He was mad. I remember that. And then they attacked him because he said no, Sulu's straight. This has been shown in canon, but they thought they were like honoring him because he happened to be gay in real life. And he's like, no, that's a character. You know the difference between fiction and reality.
No,
right? No,
you
they
answered
don't.
your own question.
So Velma Award, good luck with that. Anyway, we're gonna wrap this one up.
Yes.
It ran a lot longer than I thought it was gonna run, but
They
there you
usually
go, guys. Disney detransitioning. Please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants. We'll talk later.
do. Bye.